Shalom and welcome back to Yo Rabbi. I'm sitting with my friend, the Ger Rabbi, Rabbi Yehuda Aryeh Leib Alter, and he's making some very important points about the holiday of Purim, which is coming up in a week, and I find them to be very important for the Jewish community in these times in which we find ourselves. The first point that he makes is that the tzaddik, the righteous person, based on the actions of Mordechai, who sat in the king's gate and wept and was wearing sackcloth and fasting and crying out to God for salvation, the tzaddik has to cry out to God for salvation. But the tzaddik knows that salvation is inevitable. He knows that it's God's plan. It's always part of God's plan, and to be a tzaddik, we have to have the faith. We have to have the faith and the knowledge that these dark times in which we find ourselves are going to lead to a breakthrough in light. And to know that, but also to cry out to God as if we don't know. And my belief here is that he's aware, the Ger Rebbe, that there are times when we know and there are times when we don't know. And now is a time when it may appear like we don't know. So we have to both know and pretend like we don't know, or experience it like we don't know salvation is coming. The second point he makes is even more interesting. He says that the miracle of Purim was preparation for rebuilding the second temple. Because the strength and the uplifting spirituality of the joy of that moment of salvation and of victory for the Jewish people gave them the strength to build the second temple. And then he says something, get this, he says, V'ken efshar shehaya atid nes kazek kodem ha'geula. Ma'amid alehem melech kechaman shenes ze haya hachana legeula. He says, it's possible that there will be in the future another miracle like this, where a king like Haman would rise upon the Jews. And that miracle would also be a preparation for the redemption. So it's like he predicted things would happen in the future. And maybe the miracle he's referring to is the fact that the Nazis were defeated. They didn't have to be. They didn't have to attack the Soviet Union, and Japan did not have to attack the United States. And if the United States weren't drawn into the war, things would have gone very, very differently for the Jewish people. And then after that, we did have a Geula, a major Geula, the first Jewish Commonwealth since the time of the Second Temple. So put that in your pipe and smoke it. Now, the final point is the most important point. And that point is the mishloach manot and the matanot, the gifts that we send to fellow Jews to celebrate the holiday, because he says that Achdut B'nai Yisrael is what wipes out the name of Amalek. Achdut B'nai Yisrael, the unity of the Jewish people. That's what wipes out the name of Amalek, which is the evil spiritual entity that occupies Haman and that occupies anyone who pathologically hates our people, by gathering the Jewish people together, by sending symbols and gestures of our love for one another. And the Jewish people are not in Achdut today. So here's my suggestion for Purim. I want you to have a great time, because he also says that the Yemei Mishteh are very important for the bringing of the miracle. Right? It looks dark right now. That's the whole point of Purim, but we have to be happy. Make ourselves happy, but I want you to send mishloach manot, or invite someone who believes the opposite of you. If you're not a Trump supporter, I want you to invite a Trump supporter to your Purim Simcha. I want you to sit down with them and have a drink. And if you don't drink, I want you to have a piece of cake with them and try to have a great time. Because if we can't do that, then we're not going to be able to bring the miracle that we so badly need. And have a Purim Sameach, good Purim.